Let me give some people some hard truth, right? If a woman says she needs to heal, right? If a woman says she needs to work on herself, if she says she needs to spend some time alone, if she says she needs to work on her mental health, if she says she needs to work on her relationship with God, all of these things are just code word for I want to leave so I can find some new dick that I can bounce on, eat up. I just don't want to look like the bad guy for leaving you, because you're not really a bad enough guy for me not to feel like a bad guy for not wanting to be with you. You don't actually have to leave a relationship to work on yourself. You don't have to leave a relationship to work on your mental health. You don't have to leave a relationship to get your shit together. You don't have to leave a relationship to work on your relationship with God. These are all smokescreen tactics, right? Understand that the number one thing that a woman will use to manipulate you will be your own love and empathy towards her. Your own capacity for feeling sympathy towards her is the number one thing that she will use in order to manipulate you. By saying that she just needs to work on herself, by saying that she just needs some time to heal, by saying that she needs to work on her relationship with God, what she gets to do is to have plausible deniability that she can be in a position to still have you waiting around for her to come back around, and that in between there, something can just so to happen. It just happened, right? That's what she's looking for. Now, I've been there before. You can be in a position where a woman can say that to you, and you can reconnect before she crosses that line. But this doesn't mean that's not eventually where she was going to end up going. That's not what that means. No woman will ever hate your guts more. Or no hate. Hate is too strong of a word, because that implies emotions that can be swayed back towards loving you. No woman is going to be more apathetic towards you and disgusted with you than a woman who is no longer in love with you, a woman who's no longer feeling you, who no longer wants to be with you, especially a woman who no longer wants to sleep with you. But you're too good of a man for her to feel as if she's not the bad guy for leaving. This doesn't mean that you don't let her go. It just means that when you let her go, you need to have this in mind already and move the fuck on. And it doesn't mean that she knows this when she says it. It's just a feeling. A woman's concept of emotional safety is not logical, right? Understand this. The halo effect affects safety, right? So if a woman is experiencing limerence, she's experiencing the new feelings of you or somebody else if she's been with you for a long time, even if you are exhibiting the toxic traits in her mind that she considers toxic that her ex displayed, or another man is exhibiting the same traits that you displayed that she said made her feel unsafe or were the excuses she was using to leave, this does not mean, right, that she's going to handle it the same way. It doesn't. You don't have to leave somebody to work on yourself. You don't have to leave somebody to heal. This is a smokescreen. She wants to go be for the streets. Think about it like this. If this is a woman that you really want to marry, that you really want to spend the rest of your life with, if that's who this woman is, Why? Really ask yourself that question. Because understand this. Do you think you can do that if you're married to somebody? You're living together? They can say, you know what? I just want to get divorced for a little while so I can go work on my mental health and work on myself. She wants to go be a whore. She want to go be a slut. Fuck that bitch. Right? And I hate to put it to you like that, but that's just some cold hard facts for you. And if she's a difficult woman to deal with, in general, that's just her personality, it may take her a little while. And I'm not saying, like, some women, they're just going to run straight to the streets. There's going to be some women who are going to want a man who has a certain level of game, a certain level of suave, a certain level of finesse, who's going to be willing to pander to the way she views herself while playing this game of giving her enough distance, right? So that she can feel as if she wants him more than he wants her before that move is made. So most of the time, unless she wants to go straight to the streets, most of the time there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room. There's going to be a little wait time, right? And if she's really, really in her masculine energy, some of that wait time may be waiting for you to apologize when the bitch is wrong. I understand that. It don't matter. Fuck that bitch. Keep it pushing. Move on with your life. She's not worth it. If you're married, she can't use that excuse. I need to work on my relationship with God. I need to work on my mental health. I need to heal. Understand that part of healing takes place within relationships, right? And understand this is something that occurs in prematurely integrated relationships. Part of that healing is going to take place through sex. Hear me out. Part of healing for a woman is going to be experiencing, desiring sex, and experiencing pleasure from sex, and giving herself over without a feeling of pressure and without a feeling of guilt afterwards. The reason she wants to separate herself from you is because she's reached the point where the value of your validation has gotten so low to her. Her attraction, which is the value of your validation, is gotten so low to where, in order for her to show up in a way where you will continue to give her the level of validation that she desires and requires from you, she would have to give more than she values you enough to give. Right? This is the truth of the matter. So sex with you is going to feel like pressure. Right? And if she still is willing to fuck with you, maybe she feels as if your desire to make the relationship work is going to feel like pressure because she doesn't actually want to work on herself. Understand that before the process of working on oneself takes place, oftentimes it's going to be this first stage of just soaking, of just feeling bad, and not wanting anyone to tell you that things should be better. Right? Just wanting to spend some time alone, soaking, stewing in that negative energy. Then after soaking and brewing and stewing in that negative energy, deciding that you want to release, after doing a couple of things that make you feel good about yourself. Understand that how men and women work is like this. When a person burns out, the first thing that's going to go for a woman is sex first, and it's going to go for a man is emotional intimacy. Right? That's how things work. A man can be emotionally checked out of a relationship, still want to fuck with a woman. A woman can be sexually checked out of a relationship, still want validation, attention. Right? That's how it works. But once you spend enough time alone, not pouring out enough energy to burn herself out, now she's going to be happy that she's in a position where she's out of sight, out of mind, and doesn't have to worry about the guilt of feeling as if she's betrayed you because she convinces herself that things are over. Now, this is something that I said a lot of people don't say, right? If you are dealing with somebody for a long period of time and you take a break and then you start things back up, it never ended. Right? So that means that there's going to be guilt involved if you get back into this situation, unless you convince yourself that what you did was right because you left. In some circumstances, that can be the better decision because you don't have to deal with seeing the changes in her behavior, her talking to you differently, her being less available, her expecting more validation, more time, more energy, more reassurance, while gobbling up another man's dick, right? But in other instances, it can be worse, right? Where she's rejecting you while accepting someone else. This is how these things can work. Oftentimes, if a woman has been living a socially programmed type of mentality, even if you try to convince her out of that for a consistent period of time, she's going to want some time to feel wild and free. You don't have to take her back. But you damn sure shouldn't be going back and trying to repair things. Let that bitch be for the streets. Fuck that bitch. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you how it is. Right? You got to understand these things. You got to learn it. Engrave it into your mind. And I've been there. When you love somebody, you got a long-term situation going on. And when you're apart from each other, then anxiety sets in. You're thinking, what could she be doing? And oftentimes what you do is you assume the worst. And I've been there before where the worst didn't have enough time to happen yet. But I've also been there before where it did. And I was right about everything that I thought. And sometimes this can create self-fulfilling prophecies as well, but oftentimes it's not it. She just don't give a fuck about you. It's not about you. It's about her. All right? Understand this. Don't let somebody gaslight you into thinking that they're making a decision that they think is best for the both of you. No. If they think about what's best for the both of you, then a woman who really has sense will understand that most men out here don't really want to take her seriously. They don't really want to be with her. Right? They're not really looking to take her seriously to be her future husband or even her future boyfriend. They're looking to smash and dash. Right? They're looking to nut and strut. Right? They're looking to come and run. That's what they're looking to do. And when a woman's in a certain insecure place where she's avoidant, the only thing that's going to make her feel submissive is a man who is more avoidant than she is. And sometimes in these situations and circumstances, you can run yourself ragged and change who you are as a man, trying to be more avoidant than a woman is with you. And that can be emotionally taxing. That can be mentally and emotionally draining. Don't get me wrong, there could be some benefits of hitting it again or of getting to a point where you check out. But you have to assess if you're really checked out. If you're not truly checked out and you decide to be fuck buddies with a woman like this and you're still holding hope of that relationship, that hope is eventually going to lead to your downfall. Right? This is the truth of the matter. She is not healthy. Right? If she really wanted to heal, if she really wanted to work on herself, and she loved you, and she valued you, if you had good advice to give her about how to handle the situation, she would take it. She would go get a therapist, and then she would work on herself. She would eat better. She would have a better sleep regimen. She would exercise regularly. She would work on her relationship with God. But she wouldn't have to leave you to do these things. Nothing about leaving you has anything to do with the things she says she needs to work on. She's full of shit. Like I said, fuck that bitch. And don't let anybody shame you into thinking you have to be the bigger person and look at things from a perspective of being so caring and understanding. That woman wants to go be a whore. Right? May not be today, may not be tomorrow, may not be a week, may not be a month from now. But that's what she wants to go do. Cool. This is your opportunity. If you gave all that you had to give in that relationship dynamic, right? Understand that you had a bad foundation. That relationship was prematurely integrated. And your desire to work things out, to repair things, to find solutions, came off as feminine energy to that woman. Go in no contact. And when or if she ever comes back around, she needs to do restitution. If she's not willing to, this is her letting you know that she doesn't desire you like that. She doesn't respect you like that. She's full of shit. Right? When that time comes, use her for what she's good for. If she wants to be a whore, she got to be a whore for you. She got to start at the bottom. Because, contrary to popular belief, not every woman got a chance to have a whole phase. And because of the society that we live in, this is something that they feel is necessary to their process. But the truth of the matter is this: putting herself in a situation where she needs to get rejected by other men in order to value what you brought to her life, it's not a good thing. That's not showing any respect for you. That's not showing any value for you. This is not showing any love for you. If she says she loves you, that bitch is lying. Right? This is the truth of the matter. So what you need to do is, if push comes to shove, you got to start at the bottom. Watch my videos on transitional dating and the biology first approach. And don't make the same mistakes that you made before. And understand, man, your mistakes came from a good place. Wanting to be loving, wanting to be caring, wanting to be communicative, wanting to be understanding, wanting to be empathetic. It did. It came from a good place. She didn't appreciate that. She didn't respect that. The truth of the matter is this: go find you other women, bro. She gone. And no, she's probably not gone for forever. But what she felt about you is not there anymore. The woman you thought she knew, she's dead. This is a new bitch. She's just a bitch now. Right? And anybody who don't like my language, fuck you. Real shit. That's how I feel about it. You got to start at the bottom. If there's little tasks that you need done, have her do those. Right? And what you do is here. This is what you do. You only spend as much time with her as the amount of time that she can be in her feminine submissive energy with you. Right? So if she can only be feminine submissive with you for 2 hours, don't only spend an hour and a half with her. Right? Don't let her jump back straight up into the position of being your main girl. Right? Unless it's been a couple of months, don't give her designated days of the week where she gets to come see you, where she gets the sense of permanence. Don't let her feel so valued. And I don't give a fuck if she feels like she's more mature now and she's grown now, but she knows herself better. Chances are you've already had these conversations with her. Chances are, if you're watching my YouTube channel, you've probably already had conversations with her about how this type of situation could go. And she did not listen. So never believe that a woman is more mature if her idea of maturity and finding her strength and finding her power comes from taking the power from you in a relationship dynamic. If finding her strength and finding her power and finding herself as being a whore, if finding herself and finding her power is about disenfranchising you in that relationship dynamic, disrespecting you in that relationship dynamic, embarrassing you publicly, doing a bunch of bullshit, that's not maturity. It's not. I don't give a fuck what that bitch says. It's not. Now, what I advocate for is the biology first approach and transitional dating. Meaning that in order to integrate the anima, to integrate the shadow, you first have to meet her sexual shadow. Which means that you need to be emotionally removed enough from the situation in order to not be moved by what she tells you. If you are, and you've already warned her ahead of time, then she should feel enough contriteness to want to do everything that she did for somebody else plus some. Plus some. Right? I'm not somebody going to tell you, no, you just got to be emotionally laid back. Listen, the bitch already done showed her cards. Right? She did. And because she did, that's on her. That's not on you. So, watch my videos on transitional dating. It's hook up, fuck buddy, friends with benefits, whatever you do from there, based off of what you want. You gotta be selfish. Same way she was selfish, you gotta be selfish. And whatever place she wants in your life, she has to be willing to do what it takes to prove that. And she needs to start herself with having something to offer for that. Understand that. Don't let her manipulate you through her animus, through her father complex, through this false reality of how she likes to view herself and how relationships work. Understand, those men who she dealt with, when she told you she wanted to work on herself, we're not offering to her what you were, or she would still be with those men. And if they were, guess what? She didn't appreciate that, so she lost those men too to other men who weren't offering that. That's not a healthy woman. She's not. And that healing is going to take place through sex. That's part of it. It's not only going to be her going to therapy and working on her mental health and all this other stuff. A person can pretend to be healed when they're by themselves. How much you heal isn't going to be shown until you're in the presence of somebody of the opposite sex, if you're heterosexual, and until they're doing things that could possibly trigger that. Until then, what the healing is not going to be shown. And if she has to go through the process of healing through another man sliding his dick in and out of her orifices, she's a whore. It don't matter if she only got one body and this is her second body. She's a whore. See her that way. Treat her that way. Keep it pushing. Find other women. And if you can't, use her as a backup plan. It's Coach Brody. I'm out.